All right, get this. Today we're diving into the world of Dr. Maya Moss. Stargate Command, we're talking alien encounters, you name it. But there's a twist. She faces these interstellar situations with words, not weapons.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. What makes Dr. Moss so fascinating is that she shows us the power of linguistics in a way few ever could.
And you provided some incredible stuff for this deep dive. I mean, we've got her personnel files, mission reports, even some chat logs.
It's quite the collection.
It is.
Huh?
And it all starts in the melting pot of New York City. Imagine growing up with a UN interpreter for a mother and a linguistics professor for a father. Talk about being born for languages.
It's no surprise she excelled in the field. I mean, her upbringing, it fostered this deep appreciation, not just for language itself, but the cultures, the history, all represented within those languages.
Yeah, and she really dove headfirst into that world. Columbia, Georgetown, even a PhD from NYU, all with a focus on ancient languages and lost civilizations, deciphering the whispers of the past. That's got to be fascinating.
It is, and it's that unique skill set that grabbed the attention of Stargate Command.
And that's where things get really interesting. We're talking decoding alien languages,
Yep.
first contact scenarios, high-stakes negotiations with beings from across the galaxy.
Exactly. Situations where, a single mistranslated word could mean interstellar war.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the Tollin encounter, for example. Her mission logs show us how Dr. Moss goes beyond simple translation. It's about understanding the nuances, right? The nuances of these alien cultures, their unspoken customs, their unique ways of thinking. Those insights were really critical in ensuring a peaceful outcome.
Right, like reading between the lines,
Yeah.
but on a galactic scale.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just the Tollin. Remember that mission on P3X 527? She deciphers a lost dialect, forges an alliance with them, even gains access to some vital technology, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a skill set that completely changes how we approach interstellar diplomacy.
Absolutely. She recognized that communication is more than just words. It's about understanding the very essence of another being, another culture, and then navigating those complexities, but with sensitivity and respect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like building bridges instead of walls, but with aliens.
Precisely.
But her story takes a pretty wild turn in 2024. We're talking a classified mission that changed everything for her.
Right. This is where we get into the world of symbiosis. Dr. Moss becomes the host to a Tok'ra symbiote named Laurel.
Okay, now for those who are new to this whole thing, imagine a being. And this being has centuries of knowledge, centuries of experience, and it lives inside your head. That's Laurel.
A merging of consciousnesses. A blend of memories, emotions, the implications for someone like Dr. Moss. Someone already so in tune with communication, well, it's profound.
It's like having a superpowered historian, like a strategist, living in your head rent-free.
Right.
And the reports mention some pretty cool perks, too, like enhanced healing,
Yeah.
a boosted immune system that's an upgrade anyone would want.
Absolutely. But it's not without its downsides. Imagine the psychological impact, right? You suddenly have to share your mind, your very being, with another entity. The potential for conflict, for internal struggles, it's huge.
I bet. It'd be like having a roommate who can read your thoughts all the time.
It's a lot to process.
And that's where those chat logs get really interesting. We start to see Dr. Moss dealing with these changes, these new feelings, instincts even, that aren't, they're not entirely her own.
And it's a testament to her strength, her resilience, that she not only adapts, but learns to make this symbiosis work in her favor.
Which brings us to her latest mission, Operation Silent Growth. We're talking classified intel, heavily redacted reports, cryptic chat logs, the whole 9 yards. And it all leads to a remote town in Montana called Redwater.
And right away, the level of secrecy surrounding this operation is really noticeable. I mean, even the mission objective itself, investigating a possible black site, a mysterious fungal infection, it hints at something much more dangerous than anything Dr. Moss has encountered before.
Yeah, this isn't just another day at the office, is it?
Not at all.
And we see the team dynamics start to shift. Colonel Miller, Laia, Tryon, they're all trying to navigate this strange situation alongside a Dr. Moss who's, well, let's just say she's different. There's this feeling of unease, a distrust, even among those who've worked with her before.
It's understandable. The presence of a Tok'ra symbiote, especially in such a sensitive operation, it's bound to raise some eyebrows. Can Dr. Moss be trusted? Is she still in control? These are questions even her closest colleagues can't help but ask.
Absolutely. And then you've got Captain Sinclair being added to the team last minute. The chat logs show Colonel Miller really going head-to-head with General Hammond over this, voicing these concerns about her being Senator Kinsey's, quote, pet project.
Right, and that adds a whole other layer to it.
It does.
It really highlights that tension between, what the SGC is trying to achieve and the political realities of the world. The Stargate program, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's influenced by those in charge of the budget, those with their own agendas.
And those agendas don't always align with what's best for the mission.
Exactly.
And you know me, I love a good mystery. So this whole missing hotel hell thing, it's like catnip for my brain.
Yeah.
A vanished episode. Gordon Ramsay, with his face scratched out in all the photos, Creepy TripAdvisor reviews the internet, is going crazy with theories.
It is strange, isn't it, how something like that, a piece of pop culture, gets mixed up in something as bizarre as Redwater. It's like a glitch in the system, It makes you question what's real.
Totally. And then there's Adam Pearce. That poor guy. Vanished after staying at the Redwater Inn. Yeah. His social media posts, they got really paranoid toward the end, talking about being watched, about things he couldn't explain. It's like he saw something he shouldn't have.
It does add this human element to it all, doesn't it? A reminder that what we're seeing in Redwater, it has real consequences.
Yeah, it's not just a game. And that final TikTok video, those grainy images of, I think it was Ruth and Gary dragging this body-shaped bag down the hallway. Ruth's face is all, I don't know, distorted. Creepy stuff.
Definitely suggests a cover-up, right? Someone trying to silence anyone who gets too close.
Exactly. So our team is already on edge, putting these pieces together, and then boom, Maya shows up. Except she's not really herself. You know what I mean? She's disoriented, wearing a uniform she shouldn't even have, no memory of how she got there. It's like someone dropped her into an episode of The Twilight Zone.
And her arrival, it changes the dynamic. We have to remember, she's not just a linguist now, is she? She's a host to Laurel, that Tok'ra symbiote. Adds another layer of uncertainty to an already strange situation.
It's like she's got this secret weapon, but no one knows how to use it. Or if they should even try.
The question of trust becomes even more important. Can Laurel be trusted? Can Maya, with another being in her head, can she be trusted?
Yeah, it makes you wonder who's really in control. And the team is already suspicious, right? Especially after those encrypted messages Miller received, the ones hinting at a mole within the SGC. That's got to mess with your head.
Absolutely breeds paranoia and distrust.
And then there's Captain Sinclair being added to the team last minute. Colonel Miller, you can tell from the chat logs, he sees her as a liability, that connection to Senator Kinsey. It's a risk.
It shows how everything's connected, doesn't it? The SGC's mission, the political game, you can't have one without the other.
It's like they're playing chess, but with people's lives. So we've got this team, they're divided, they don't know who to trust, and then they discover their motel room is bugged. But we're not talking your average listening devices here.
No, this is where those dimensional anomalies we talked about come in. This equipment, it's sophisticated, practically invisible. It exists on a different dimensional plane. Even the SGC doesn't fully get that kind of technology.
And that observation room, all those monitors showing different parts of the town, different time loops, even the team themselves. It's like someone's directing a movie, but they're using real people.
The question is why? Are they just watching the team or the whole town? Is it about the black site, the fungal infection, or something else entirely?
It's like those surveillance cameras. You never know who's watching. Except this time, it could be something we don't even understand. And then there's that device they find.
Yeah.
The one giving off that low-frequency hum. It let them see into other dimensions, right? Through reflective surfaces.
Yeah, it's straight out of science fiction. But it proves they're dealing with something that can manipulate reality itself. And the fact it's tuned to a specific Jade address, one from a previous mission, that can't be a coincidence. It suggests a connection to those new worlds, those alien creators we talked about earlier.
So it's all connected somehow, but the pieces don't fit yet. And before they can even figure it out, Maya collapses. Full-blown seizure. She's having these visions, whispering things that don't make sense. It's obvious something's really wrong.
Her collapse, it's more than just medical, though, isn't it? It's the strain of the symbiosis. She's sharing her mind, her body with Laurel. And that can have unpredictable consequences.
It's like her brain is overloaded trying to process everything. And those visions, seeing her own body cut open, her team, but they're distorted, menacing. Even a version of Laurel, but decayed, rotting, is disturbing, to say the least.
Symbiosis, for all its benefits, it's a double-edged sword, a merging of two beings. And sometimes the result isn't pretty.
It's a good thing Laya's there. So while she's trying to stabilize Maya, Miller decides to check out those strange occurrences outside. He wants answers, but what he finds, well, it's the stuff of nightmares. This creature, it's like nothing I've ever seen. A mix of animal and fungus.
That encounter with the mutated bear, it's important. It shows us what that infection can do, how it can twist and corrupt. Even something as powerful as a bear, it becomes this monstrous thing.
And remember that wolf? The one that dropped Miller's keychain right before it was killed. It's like he was trying to warn him, but something stopped it.
Right. It reinforces the idea that something's not right in Redwater, that there are forces at play beyond our understanding, forces that might be trying to communicate, but also forces that can be dangerous.
Yeah, it's unsettling. So Miller barely gets away from this bear, rushes back to warn the others, and who does he find waiting for him? Ruth, the innkeeper. But there's something off about her.
Her whole demeanor has changed. She's too calm, too knowing. It's like she's not just the friendly innkeeper anymore.
And that warning she gives Miller, it's chilling. She doesn't have much time. What does that even mean?
Clearly, Ruth knows more than she's letting on. And it sounds like Maya's in danger. Maybe the whole team is.
So now we've got a mystery within a mystery. It's like trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces keep changing.
It's a turning point in the story. Things are about to get a lot more intense.
And while Miller is dealing with that, things inside the inn are falling apart. Maya's getting worse. Her visions, they're more vivid, more disturbing. Even Sinclair, she cracks under the pressure. The team is unraveling, and the danger is closing in. It's like something out of a horror movie.
Classic horror trope, right? Isolated, divided, facing something they don't understand.
And if things couldn't get weirder, Tryon, he's trying to connect with that crow, the intelligent one we mentioned earlier, and what he discovers is, well, it's mind-bending. It's like something out of a Philip K. Dick novel.
The crow, it has this dual consciousness. It's acting on its own, but also it's being controlled by something else, like it's part of a network.
A network of what?
That's the question, isn't it? But those whispers, Tryon picked up: network, control, vessel, convergence. They suggest a plan, something bigger than just Redwater.
So let me get this straight. We've got a team on the verge of collapse, a town where reality is breaking down, a crow controlled by unknown forces, a missing episode of Hotel Hell, and a device that can change dimensions. What could possibly go wrong?
And it gets even more complicated because while the team is trying to make sense of it all, those hidden forces, they're about to make their move. And the stakes are about to get a whole lot higher.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We left off with our team stuck in a time loop, and let me tell you, things are about to get even weirder.
Yeah, it's more than just a simple time loop, though, right? We're talking a complex series of repeating events, and each loop is slightly different depending on the choices the team makes. It's like something's testing them.
Like they're lab rats in some cosmic experiment.
Exactly. And Maya's at the center of it all. While the rest of the team is stuck in that 10-minute cycle, she's going through her own separate loop, a brutal 6-hour cycle of being captured, interrogated, and, well, killed over and over again.
It's like something out of a horror movie.
It's a testament to Maya's strength that she doesn't just break under that kind of pressure.
She even uses those loops to her advantage, right? Like she starts leaving clues for her team, trying to change small things to break the cycle.
Right. She's manipulating her captors, hiding messages, even using her own death as a way to communicate with the team. It's heartbreaking, but also pretty incredible to see.
It's like she's playing 4D chess while everyone else is stuck in checkers.
Exactly. And that's what makes her so fascinating. She's a linguist at heart. And what is language but a tool to communicate, to solve problems, to bridge the gap between different minds? And that's what she's doing with this time loop. She's trying to find the right words, the right actions to change her fate.
And it works, eventually. The team, they start picking up on the patterns, those tiny differences between loops.
They start seeing the time loop not as a prison, but as a puzzle to be solved.
And they do solve it. But it's not easy. Their escape from the inn, the chase through those mines, the final confrontation with that thing behind it all. It was intense, to say the least.
It definitely pushed them to their limits, and they don't come out of it unscathed. Henry's death, even his resurrection, it leaves a mark on Sinclair. It shows that even with all this advanced technology, we're still bumping up against things we can't control. There are lines we can't cross without consequences.
Yeah, makes you think. And Miller, Talk about a hero. He puts his own mind at risk to connect with that super intelligent AI, shuts it down to break the loop and save his team.
But that AI, as advanced as it was, it also serves as a warning. It saw humanity as a threat, something to be contained. It's a reminder that not everything out there in the universe is friendly.
It's a big universe out there, full of wonders and terrors. So after all that, the time loops, the fungal infections, the creepy crows, the team makes it out of Redwater, but they're changed. And the questions linger. What was Operation Silent Growth really about? What's still hidden in Redwater? And what about Dr. Moss? Where does she go from here?
That's the big question, isn't it? We've seen her skills, her resilience, her connection with Laurel. What's next for someone like that?
She's like a walking, talking Rosetta Stone. Who knows what she's capable of unlocking?
Keep asking questions, keep exploring, keep diving deep. The universe is vast and the mysteries are endless. Until next time, this is The Deep Dive, signing off.